Hello, boys and girls. That is late Friday night's Banter Blitz next episode. Today, I will try to forget about my bed shape and I will try to play decent chess. What remains the same is the try to explain the things. So it is my main focus usually. So let's try. There are a lot of challenges already. Not so many if compared to usual episodes, but maybe it's even better. So probably more players will get the chance to play. So let us see. As usual, I will start with somebody I've never played before. So let's see, one by one. Too many games. Drew Schroeder we have played already. Okay, so here is the first one. Accept. And I'm playing with white pieces. Here we go. E4. So where is my opponent? E5. Here it is. Knight f3. So knight c6, bishop b5. Ruy Lopez, as usual. a6, bishop takes. Takes, castles, exchanged variation to start with. If there will be one more Ruy Lopez today, or it's better to say tonight, I'll try bishop a4. Maybe I'll try even something else, not bishop b5 on the move number 3. Dunno. Oh, queen f6, my favorite line, by the way. So I play this usually with black. Let us see. Oh, bishop d6. So ed4 is the main move. I don't think that bishop d6 is a good idea. So now, I have a chance to play bishop g5, I have a chance to take on e5 immediately. Why not to take on e5 immediately? At the very least, it gives me something. I guess bishop g5 now looks very good. Attacking the queen and creating a sort of queen d8 checkmate, right? If I'm not mistaken, queen should go to d6, where after I can take on e5. Takes e5. Now if queen e5, then checkmate. Feels like an extra minor piece. Dunno. Okay, so that was simple, right? Bishop d6 is a serious mistake. Because of this d5 and bishop g5. I could have played in a different order, but I guess there is no reason to do that. The main move is e takes d4. All right, 1 or 2 games against the guys I've never played before. So namesake is here. Let's play namesake. So 5 minutes. e4, e5, here we go. So knight f3, knight c6. My Cello, I will play against you next game, but for the future, I prefer 5 minutes, because when you play a 5-minute game and comment it simultaneously, you have more chances to explain the things. But okay, I will play against you this time. 3 minutes. d3, b5. Because there was already a threat of taking on c6 and taking on e5. Alright, let's play d6 here. Intended knight a5 and c3 prepares bishop to c2. Alright, it's time to castle. h3. Bishop d7. h6 covering g5, so that my rook can go now to e8, preparing bishop to f8. Typical regrouping in the spirit of Smyslov variation. Now I guess knight a5 looks very natural, and then c5. Grabbing the space on the queen side, controlling the center additionally, and so on. So queen c7 or just knight c6 back. I think queen c7. So it's kind of a mix of Smyslov variation and Chigorin system. So similar ideas. So White spent the time on d3 move instead of playing d4 immediately, which gives me some additional options, I guess, but at the moment it's hard to tell which ones. Alright, this gives me a chance to play knight to c4, and I will play knight c4, why not? My knight on a5 was not that great anyway, so I wanted to bring it back to c6, or maybe through c4 to b6, and why not to make it with the tempo, just like here. Now let's put the knight on b6, preventing a4, and anyway White wanted to play b3, so White is not against a repetition. So should I repeat or not? Let's see. So let's start with knight c4. Now probably it makes sense for me to bring the rook to the c file, preparing cd4, or maybe just to take on d4 right now and to play rook to c8. Is it a good idea or not? Let's try it. And now rook to c8. Creating a concrete threat, because now there is a pressure along the c file. So bishop on c2 feels not very comfortable. Now, I'm slightly better developed, so maybe I can even afford something like d6, d5 here, or e takes d4 first, and then d5. Or e takes d4, knight takes, queen attacks the knight, for example, from b6, and then something like d5. All this looks very interesting. So let's try it. Sort of experimenting. So d5, d5 immediately or after queen b6. Let's try it immediately. Interesting stuff. And for example, bishop to c5. Check. And I wanted to take this guy on d4. So now the bishop c4 is under attack, and not only the bishop on c4, so the one on g3 is also hanging. So interesting complications. Interesting complications. And it looks like a punishment for wasting a lot of time. Yeah, so now I can take on g3. Alright. Then bishop goes to e3. But I can simply go to e5, protecting the bishop, so everything looks fine. I can also take on e3 now. So the pin along a7, g1 remains here, so I simply have extra minor piece for no compensation whatsoever. Yeah, interesting game. Blockade, stopping the pawn on d5. All right. Let us centralize the key. Well, I guess it's over. My opponent keeps playing. Alright. Let's protect the bishop additionally to prevent bishop b5 trick. To take it or not? Yeah, why not? Centralization. Okay, it's time to go there and checkmate the king. I hope there is no stalemate. There is no stalemate, of course. So, very interesting game. So, I don't think it was the right way for white to play this. I mean, d3 followed by d4 is more or less fine, so it is acceptable. But then this bishop e3 is already quite dubious, in my opinion. So, starting with this version. So, b3 is a move here, just stopping my knight on a5. There is also a typical thing starting with d5. Just closing position completely and trying to play on the king side. So I guess that was probably the best option for white. But if white wants to keep this tension in the center, I guess b3 deserves attention. Because I don't think black has anything connected with the c file here. For example, after b3 takes, you know, rook c8. Okay, there are a lot of different options to protect this bishop. For example, rook e2 is absolutely playable here, in my opinion. So my knight on a5 is really ugly. And I guess white has a slight edge here. So I would have played something else, maybe knight c6, maybe just g6, bishop g7, something like this, where after it is possible to put the bishop on e3 and so forth. Of course, when I managed to do this, cd4, rook here, takes. At very least, I was just fine. I mean, I no longer have problems after ed5, for example. I can just take on d5 immediately. And I guess it's at very least just equal. Probably if I wanted to execute the same idea, it was better for me to start with rook e1, queen e1, and to put the bishop on c5 here. To prevent the option of taking on e8 and then taking on c4, protecting the knight on d4. And now white has the same problem, so probably knight f5 is a move here. Then I planned to do something like rook e8, attacking the queen, forcing the queen somewhere, I don't know, f1 or d1, which is better. Maybe c3 is also playable, I'm not sure. And then something like queen b6 attacking f2. So maybe queen f1 is a safe option, just to control f2. And if I take on f5, there is knight takes f5, of course, saving the knight on the board. So maybe that is not very dangerous for white in general, but was already annoying. And I think what white blundered is exactly this possibility of bishop takes d4. So after bishop takes d4, it is already very hard to save the game, I guess, because two hanging things, and I can't see how to protect them both simultaneously. If knight goes away somewhere on e2, okay, I just take on c4 with the queen, protecting the bishop and winning the game. All right, so let's go further. I promised to play My Cello, so except 3 minutes, I have to be really fast. So no time, simply no time for bullshit. So let's play quick. All right, I'll take it. And now what? Let's just develop the pieces. Okay. I'll go back. So after e4, position is closed. So I guess I simply can't afford this sort of play. Maybe I'm wrong, but looks playable. So extra pawn for now. Bishop e2. Bishop d6. Okay, it's time to castle. And knight e5. All right, where the knight goes? To f4, most likely. There is also an idea of playing e3. But do I care? I think I don't. So there are several options. Bishop g4, for instance. Simply c4. Let's play c4. Let's just simplify position slightly. Oh. I will take this bishop. Now I have pair of bishops. In addition to my extra pawn, now bishop c4 or what? Or queen b3. Or just bishop e3. Let's start with the bishop e3. Let's take this one. Queen d2. Preventing g5. My bishop on e3 is stupid, of course. But I have extra material, so let's do it. Let us squeeze black with all my pawns. Yeah. Something went wrong. Oh, bishop on d5 was hanging, come on. That was very stupid. I mean, from my side, not to capture that bishop, but I have some slight problems with the time. So how to win this? Rook c7. Let's take this one. And queen e7. Okay, quick and yeah, strange game, to be honest. So I was already better after this, I guess, c4. But I expected knight to f4, to be honest. And I wanted to take here, to take here, to play d5, then knight to c3, something like this. So black has pair of bishops, but I have extra pawn and normal development of the pieces, so I have to convert it somehow gradually. After knight b6, I guess I'm even better. So after c5, takes, knight to d5, knight c3, well, I just have extra pawn and pair of bishops. Maybe I slightly underestimated this f5 possibility, so probably it was better for me to stop it with the help of g4, but I don't think so, in fact, because there is e3 threat, so knight c3 should be played here. And after f5, bishop e3, okay, if knight takes on e3, I'm happy. I just take on e3, protect d4 additionally, and I have a good bishop because my bishop is not limited with own pawns. I mean the bishop e2 after this exchange. So after bishop e6, I just simplify the position, play queen d2, then b4, b5, and so forth, with gradual conversion, but having no time on the clock. I started playing stupid moves at some point, so probably I could have played this much better. Anyways, now let's come back to the normal order of challenges, and Savi is the first today. Here we go. I play with white. The question from Zweihosex, Andrey, is there a new tournament you will participate? Yeah, I would like to play a tournament, but I don't think it will happen in the nearest future. So probably a GM Norm tournament later on by the end of November in Ukraine, probably, I'm not sure. Of course, the Bundesliga, if we call it a tournament. And probably there is also the one in November in Heusenstamm. So, don't know. Okay. So b5, bishop c5. Main line goes c3, d6, d4, and so forth. Let's play d3. And prevent bishop g4. I guess knight a5 was also an interesting option for black here. Now let's try a4. Take on b5. So now a file is mine. Not sure if it gives me anything serious. And now let's try to occupy d5 square. Okay, to put the knight on d5 or to play bishop e3. I don't think that knight e5 attacks anything here. Of course it is a move, but I have a feeling that bishop e3 is slightly more promising. Because I have some threats of playing d3, d4. So black has to be careful about this possibility at least. And if black takes on e3, I will have an open f file and some chances maybe to occupy it with my heavy pieces and exert some pressure, just as usual. Position should be equal, of course. And this one gives me a chance to take on d4, which I will take, I think. So takes on d4, bishop takes d4 most likely, knight d4, e4, and then, don't know, let's see. At least the pawn structure becomes slightly better for white, but I still don't think that it is a serious problem for black. I don't think black has a chance to take with the pawn here because I play knight e2 and it's very hard to protect d4. Now it's possible because if I play knight e2 there is c7, c5. So maybe it makes sense for me to play knight e5 now. I'm not sure if I achieve anything, at least. At least something. Yeah, this position should be around equal. Bishop e6, the move I also considered one of the best ones. So there is just a threat of taking on d5 with the bishop. And if I take with the pawn, I have this stupid bishop on b3. If I take on f6 now, well, queen takes f6. So what? There is nothing most likely. Well, knight b4 is an interesting resource here. Is it? Let's try. Just creating a threat of knight c6. Queen d7, just no reaction to my threats at all. Yeah, there is nothing, absolutely nothing in this position. Rook a7, rook a8, queen a1 takes, c5 takes d7, knight d7. Black may be even better there. Okay. Something like this. And I have only 1 minute. But there is at least something. So now I have slightly better pawn structure. And a good queen. but material is very low, I guess. There is no real chance to achieve anything. There is sort of initiative. Okay, now what? How to continue the attack? I think with this move. And now with this move. Yeah, nice. Very nice. But I was lucky, of course. So that was a great game played by Savi. Only by the end, I actually came up with some attacking chances. So, definitely this maneuver of the rook wasn't correct. I think that the most annoying move for white could have been queen to c7 here, creating a sort of queen c2, attacking my most vulnerable f2 pawn, and also attacking d3, attacking b2, and so forth. So I don't think I can take here, because after queen c2, the queen becomes really active, and f2 is under attack. So maybe I can go passive with the rook f1 here, but I don't like this position. However, I have an extra pawn, so maybe I have some chances just to play something like b4 and gradually pushing this pawn. So maybe queen c7 wasn't that great. Okay, b4, that was probably not bad, but after f3, here I think queen c7 was better than rook c8. So it was necessary to activate the queen, in my opinion, not the rook. So queen c7 or maybe queen e7, intended to put the queen somewhere here on g5, creating a sort of rook f3 and perpetual at very least. So I think black is not at risk at all. So it should be just yeah, an equal position. So there was also another interesting opportunity. So here when I played knight a6, it was kind of bluff. So I took on d4 and only then, well, after already playing knight a6, I realized that was possible for black. Just attack the knight here. So something like queen b7. I don't think I have a chance to save the material balance. So I definitely have some tricks after, let's say, taking on c5, sacrificing this knight, then maybe taking on d6, playing queen b3, attacking b5, e6, or maybe starting with queen b3 here, attacking e6. But I do believe these tricks are not enough. So rook a6, let's say queen takes e6 check and goes to h8. Rook a6, queen a6, dc5. Well, this may be annoying, by the way. This may be annoying, so probably it's not a good idea for black to give up this e6 pawn here. Something like c4 may be interesting. Yeah, I guess c4. c4. Let's say d takes c4, rook takes a6 now. And if rook a6, queen a6, cb5, yeah, there is still a problem with the e6 pawn. Okay, this also doesn't work. All right. So what else? Maybe d5. No, d5 doesn't work because of knight c5. You know, maybe even king f7 or something. Yeah, why not queen a7, queen f7, king f7, sorry. Or rook e8. Rook e8 was also interesting. Yeah, something like this. Protecting e6 and then just taking the knight. Or here I have a chance to protect it, right? Queen a2. Well, maybe it was not that simple. Maybe it was not that simple because I have queen a2 here. If black protects pawn, I protect the knight. And it will still take time to attack this knight one more time while I have a chance to take on c5 and so forth. But at least it was interesting for black to try this, right? Somewhere here, I guess... it was better to start with d takes c3, and after d takes c3, just c5. That was a better version. And now, if I play, for example, knight c2 or something, there is b4 possibility, so creating a passed pawn. That was interesting. So black is not for worse here. I think black is even slightly better because pieces look slightly better coordinated. All right. Anyways, thanks for the game. Next one is crowning student. Accept. And I play with white. Thanks God. But last time I also played with white, as far as I remember. And there was a very interesting Scheveningen. So let's try to play something else. Let's try this. Bishop c4 this time. Knight e5. All right, bishop b3 should be played. And I think black thinks of putting one of his knights to g4 square. Yeah. Okay, I can bet I saw somewhere the white can play without this dark squared bishop. Just f4, then at some point f5, and so on. But I might be wrong. Absolutely. Because this could be just a different position. Bishop g5 leads to d6, d5 complications, attacking h2. Which might be not that great for white. So let's try f4. I know that probably it is not the best way to play this, but at least I have a better development and I'm ready to play f5. b6, interesting decision. Interesting decision. Anyway, I'm not convinced, so let's play f5. And now d5 square becomes a target. Where to put the knight? I think on e2, to be able to protect e4 if necessary from g3, and also to fight for d5 square with the help of g3, h5 with the knight. So now, d5, is it a threat? I don't think d5 is a threat here, but b5 can be. So let us start with this move, protecting e4 additionally, and preparing knight h5 at some point. So white's plan is clear, just to occupy d5 square gradually. Let's try to perform it. Queen c5. Okay, I wanted to go away with my queen. To f3, but there is also e2 square. Let's put it on e2. to control a6 and b5. Now it feels like knight to h5 should be playable, but I'm not sure 100%. So let's see. Knight to h5. Knight takes e4. Knight goes to d5 in this case. Bishop takes d5. Bishop takes d5. What is that? Knight goes back to f6. I can take on f6. Well, it's not clear. Knight h5, knight e4. If I take on e4, then queen takes e4. Black is fine. More or less. Rook c3, I don't think it is a big threat. So let's start with the rook f3 move. Let's activate as many pieces as possible. And also, if rook takes c3, I will take with the rook. Rook c5. Okay, let's put the rook on d3. What about the queen? Queen is kind of stuck there. Now let's play knight h5. Have no time. Position is really interesting. There should be something. Okay, let's start with this. That should be good for white. I just have very active rook. But no time. That's a pity. Only 30 seconds. Unpleasant. Unpleasant, but winning, still winning. Yeah, winning position. So it was very, very complicated. I think that after knight to h5, there was a possibility to play knight takes e4. I wasn't sure, but yeah, knight h5 was kind of bluff again. So knight takes e4. What I wanted to do here. So first of all, what doesn't work? For example, if I play queen g4, looks great, but knight f2 wins on the spot. So that is a problem with this knight on e4. If I take on e4, then queen takes e4, and again, black has no problems here, only white has. So what to do here? I consider two main possibilities, knight to d5 and knight to a2. If knight to d5, then bishop takes d5. And when bishop takes d5, okay, knight goes back to f6. And I didn't see anything concrete here, but maybe I was wrong, because white definitely has some initiative here. So takes, and then for instance queen to h5, attacking f7, g6 is not possible because I can take it on g6, and then queen takes g6, so black has to protect f7 somehow or sacrifice the exchange on d5, which I think is not enough to compensate all this material. But there is also a possibility to sacrifice the pawn on f7, so that to play rook takes c2. Also unclear. So do I have anything here? I'm not sure. So there is, for example, rook to h3 move, and I have very annoying threat of taking on f7, then taking on h7, and then queen h5 checkmate. So looks like I'm slightly faster, but if black protects, for example, f7 here, I don't have a checkmate. So after queen h7, king goes here and runs away. So position is unclear, and I didn't want to play this one. I saw the possibility of playing knight a2, and it was the most tempting thing, because as we can see after rook c5, the queen is kind of stuck here. So queen goes to a5, and I saw the possibility of taking on f7 at some point with the idea of playing b4. But then queen takes a4 and takes a2, which is again absolutely unclear. So I don't know, maybe I would have played something like rook h3 now, just preparing for this knight f6 to take on f6 and to play queen h5. Maybe to sacrifice on g7 and then something like queen h5 again. So looks interesting at very least, but looks like a playable thing. And there was also a possibility to play rook d4, kind of counter sacrifice of exchange. So black did everything to sacrifice the exchange on c3, and well, rook d4 looks like an interesting try. The point here that if black decides to take on c3 first, then first of all bc3 is playable, but also queen g4 becomes, if I'm not mistaken, a decisive thing. So queen is under attack and g7 as well. So ed4, and now for instance knight takes e4, attacking the rook. What is important, eliminating this knight that threatens knight f2. And now what? What is that? Rook takes f5 most likely. Queen goes to g4. Rook takes h5, right? So very complicated position. Very, very complicated position. Queen takes h5, attacking f7. If bishop takes e4, I take on f7, take on e7. So still not clear even after that. So takes here, queen e7. I don't know. I really don't know. So black's still a material up. So not clear. So maybe knight takes e4. Deserved attention. Serious one. Okay. Okay. Thanks for the game. Shelling is here. Let's play. And with white, which means what? Which means Caro-Kann. Or maybe there is a surprise. Maybe not. No surprises. At this point, we play Caro-Kann. And I guess the same line, right? And I will try this move. I'll try this move this time. With this idea. Yeah. Schelling knows his stuff, as expected. At least I managed to surprise my opponent. I mean, I didn't play this c4, queen c2, and so forth. So I chose another line, which is equal. But at least I know what to do here, if compared to previous takes. So now, as far as I remember, knight h4 deserves attention. Attack in f5. With some interesting complications. Yeah, knight b6. Now knight takes f5. Everything is according to analysis. Knight c4, correct. Winning the game, right? No. Queen goes to h3. Knight takes here. Knight c4 takes here. Pay attention. King goes to a1. Black is a minor piece up. At the moment, but the knights are kind of protecting each other and pinned to each other. It looks crazy a bit, but I have some threats on the king side. At least it looks fine, right? What's going on, says grounding student. Okay, rook e8. Rook e8. So the main move is king to h8. Rook e8. I'm not sure it is correct. So let's see, queen g4, attacking g7. And what my opponent will do after that. Let's focus. I think I don't have knight h6 here or something, but queen g4 looks good. Okay, let us investigate. So queen g4. Creating a threat of a checkmate on g7. Knight to g5 leaves the knight d2 not protected, right? So now I can take on e8 first. Now I can take on d2 because I have queen d1 after queen e1. And I'm a pawn up. So queen d1, right? I hope I'm not mistaken. Okay. Understandable. Understandable. So So now knight e3, queen d1, rook d1, knight to e4. Annoying. f4 immediately looks interesting. Now let's try this. Oh shit. My goodness. Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. I have to go away. I have to go here. Yeah. That was bad. That was really bad. So now I have to make a window for my king. Is there a threat or something? I don't know. Position is crazy. Position is just crazy. Okay, let's do something like this. Shit. Yeah. Well, I'll resign. Okay. 1-7. Can you imagine? I was just smashed here. So f4 wasn't correct. So I should have played something else. Maybe even not queen d1. Maybe rook to d1. But then queen takes f2. And black should be fine, more or less. But because of this knight on f5, I should be slightly better still. You know, queen d1. Okay, rook to d1. So at the moment, there is only one threat. It is rook to e2, which I completely missed. Why didn't I play, for example, just knight to g3 here? Because I didn't see rook e2, it's obvious. But after knight to g3, I think I'm fine. I protect h5, I control e2 square, I control e4 square, so there is no knight e4. I'm just a pawn up. Correct? Correct. Yeah, I didn't see rook e2 completely, but after knight g3, I think I'm better. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't know. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. So, was a bad try. But actually this line is equal, of course. So I won't reveal all the details. Maybe we will play this next time again. So we will see. All right. Yeah, rook e2. Fantastic. Was it correct? Let's see. Let me think for a while. So f4. Rook goes to e2. Yeah, I can't take on e2. I can't take on e1. Rook on d2 is hanging. So if I take on g5 here, there is queen d2. Yeah, there is only one move, rook to d3. And now knight goes to e4 with the threat of knight f2. Come on. Yeah, very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, f4 was just awful. f4 is just... Come on. Spoils everything. So knight g3 should have been played. Protecting everything. Alright? Alright. So, here we go. Drew Schoenberg. Ah, disaster. Okay, what is that? It is just a position with pair of bishops. That is what I can see already. So let's go away. All right, I'll castle this side, of course. What could be more natural than to castle long and to checkmate my opponent with this queen h7 move? Okay, well, there is nothing to discuss. I just exploited the blunder. It was a huge blunder, actually. Here's Phenomenon. Let's play Phenomenon. The worst broadcast ever, I guess. Question, stream is off again. Which internet provider do you have? I have a normal internet provider, my friend. It happens for the first time in the history of late Friday night Banter Blitz shows. Yeah. Do we have a stream just right now? Please tell me. So let me check. Stream is okay now. Okay. So, what is going on here? We have this d5 square and pawn on a6 looks quite bad. Rook on a4 was vulnerable, so let's go away. Knight to b4. Okay, I'm not sure what is the idea. Well, all right, let's keep developing the pieces. Could you tell it again? Which provider do you use? Unity Media. So, just a normal provider. Oli also answered this question. in chat. So I want to get rid of this knight on b4 somehow. Queen e1 is kind of opportunity. Queen e2 followed by c3 is also an interesting try. But after queen e2 there is a4, which I can pair with the bishop f7 followed by bishop b4. So let's play queen e2. This drops f7 pawn for nothing. Let's start with the c3, attacking the knight, and now let's take this delicious pawn. This also gives me the rook on e8. I mean the exchange. Very strange. Very strange. Very strange series of moves from my opponent. Actually giving me a lot of extra material. Oh, bishop b5. It's a trick. It's a trick. Okay, so I have to go away with the rook from this vulnerable position on f1. And now let's take on a5. One more pawn. Attacking c7 at the same time. Yeah, it's lost. Well, everything was more or less fine, but I didn't understand the idea behind taking on a4 first of all. So it's really strange, because it just damages the own pawn structure. It was much better to play bishop b7 or rook to b8 at least, like Savi played, for example. And later on, of course, this strange king h7 move, just giving me this f7 pawn, so it was still playable position, of course, and it was possible to play something like c5 here, and after c3 knight goes back to c6, so black still controls the center more or less fine. Well, there are some weaknesses, of course, but they're not very serious. All right, so the next one is let me win, accept. d5. All right, so Scandinavian. We already had the one earlier today, but there was a tricky line with the c6. Now black plays the normal way. Okay, let me remember. How this being played. I'm not sure I'm making correct moves. So c5 now. Or not. I guess, yeah, c5. c5 is interesting. 97. All right. That is a portion of good news. So black goes passive slightly. But maybe it's just for several moments. Not for sure. So d5, knight goes to e5. Then something like bishop e3. Let's try it. So I grab more and more space here, which is nice. I like space. Okay, so c5 is hitting. I have a chance to take on e6. I have a chance to play d6. Both look very interesting candidates. c6 is also an interesting move. I don't even know which one to choose. Let's try c6. Looks really sharp. Oh, I can take on d7 now with check. That was a blunder, I do believe. So now to take on d7 first, and then to take on f3. Yeah, I think so. Why not? I have extra minor piece now. And pair of bishops. Nice. Just very, very nice. How to complete the development correctly. So let's start with check. Just to see where the king goes. Don't even know. Let's put the bishop on h3. Of course, not the best square, but at least my rooks are coordinated now. And there is no knight f5 because I will just take it on f5 and so forth. Let's take it. Just to simplify the things. So now what do we have? It's kind of extra minor piece for 2 pawns, roughly. Okay. Let us bring the rooks to the game. So now, this one is heading, right? So let's protect it. Rook lift. Attacking a7 now. Okay. a3 to cover b4 and to prepare b2 b4 move. Okay, where to put my knight? I guess this square is good. Check. Feels like we're close. Very, very close. Okay. Let us be precise till the end. All right, the king should take part in the game. By the way, it is not as simple as I expected. But still, convertible, I think. Okay, that is what I wanted to do, to have my king here. Yep. Okay, so that was an interesting opening stage in this game. So bishop g4, c5, knight d7. I'm not sure it is the best move. I guess knight d5 is okay. Bishop c4, knight takes c3. There is of course queen b3, some complications based on this, but there is a e6 usually. So knight d5, I guess, a move here. Maybe to start with bishop f3 also makes sense. Who knows? And I guess the d7, d5, knight e5, and bishop here. I thought I was already much better. Because I control the center. If you take on f3, okay, I take on f3, just one minor issue in my position. I mean, this pawn structure, but I have a great development and great pawns d5 and c5. After e6, most likely d6 was the best move for white. But I decided to play this because I saw this interesting line. Takes, and if knight takes c6, then queen goes to a4. Attacking knight c6 and bishop on g4, which more or less forces black to take on f3. And after g takes f3, I really liked the position I see on the board. So I saw on the board in my mind. Because I have pair of bishops, very good development. I'm ready to castle on, so it should be just a disaster for black, in fact. That's why I played c6. bc6 is forced, dc6 is forced in this case, and if you wanted to take on f3, you should have captured with the knight, of course, so it should have been check. But in this case, I just take on f3 and the bishop is under attack. So most likely the knight has to take on c6 here, because if, for example, knight d7 goes away somewhere, then just take on d8. After rook d8, I take on e5, winning the game. So it's over, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's play 2 more and finish with that. Okay. Are you here, my friend? Yes, you are. So here comes King's Gambit. All right, so what about just bishop to d6 here? This check was quite predictable. What to do now? Bishop b4 check? No, will be just stupid, because king goes to f2. That is what white wants to do here. So maybe queen to f5 is an option. Now queen to f6. Something like this. And now probably just queen e6, but then c5. Yeah. Maybe I mixed up some lines, you know. I saw this maneuver queen f5, queen f6 somewhere, but maybe it was a different position. Most likely it was a different position. All right, what to do now? Let's play bishop e7. I don't see a better option. And I don't like my position now. Because there is queen e4 at the very least. There is also knight e5. Which looks extremely ugly for black now. Should be just lost. Should be just lost. Can I take on d4? That's an interesting question. Knight e4. Bishop h7, king h7, queen h5, check. No, it can't be true. Can't be good. So I have to go away with the queen now. Where to go? To d6 most likely. You know, e6 is also an option. Let's put it on d6. Position is very bad. But I have to fight. I have to fight. I have to go here. So that is sad. But maybe it's not over yet. Maybe I still have some chances. Let's say, what about bishop here? Do I want to exchange this bishop? I don't think so. But I have to reduce opponent's attacking resources somehow. Okay, let's start with bishop e6. Can't be a bad move, just simple development, controlling d5 square, maybe intending to occupy d5 with the bishop. So material is even. I have a bad pawn structure, but okay. Still have some chances. I think I can take on a2 now. Looks like an option. And I'm gonna pawn up, which is nice. Bishop h7. Okay, I just take on h7. Queen h5, king goes back to g8, so what? There is no checkmate whatsoever. Because I control h4 square and I still protect f7 with the bishop from a2. queen to f3. All right. Where the queen goes? Well, first of all, it is an attack against c6. So let's go back. Now g6 is kind of forced, I guess. Let's put the pawn on g6. Now I think bishop g5 makes sense. Or maybe just f5. Don't really know. Or just to play a5. But there is bishop h6, something annoying connected with this. Let's prevent it. I don't want this bishop going to h6. I understand I just exchanged the bishop that could have been potentially a good defender of my king side. But I don't think that my king side is that weak. Alright, I will take here. Put my queen on. Or no. Yeah, let's put it on g5. Active position. Now on d2. Even more active. Or just bishop g2. Yeah, this looks good. Attacking the queen and deflecting the queen from d3 bishop. Take it. Take it. Queen c6. Okay. It's time to activate the resources. All the resources we have. Let's say how this way maybe. Have no time, unfortunately. So there will be a problem with the conversion. Now I have extra queen. And still will be quite hard having this time to convert it. But okay, it's a winning position. Probably I simply confused one line with another. To know this bishop d6 was too much. Could I have played something like queen f5 immediately? I have no idea. But after all this, I guess white was quite good. So I expected queen e4 here, just attacking h7, forcing me to play g6, where after bishop takes f4 is possible, but maybe not that simple after bishop f5. So most likely just queen f4 is good. So queen takes, bishop takes looks very nice. So this c7 is hanging. If I play c6, white is just much better, in my opinion. So a great advantage in development, the better center, bishop h6 is here, and so forth. So even without queens, I mean, it's possible to exert enormous pressure. And somewhere here, when I played bishop e6, I think that it was better just to play b3 first, and only then to play this rook f1. It looked very natural, but appears I can take the pawn, so there is no much play against my king. So I have enough resources to protect it, I guess. Anyways, so the last game, I'm sorry for this, so I'm losing my voice. The last game will be against Mr. Master today. So accept the challenge. Have white pieces, here we go. Dragon, dragon, dragon. Here we go. All right, so a4. Stopping the pawn. Yeah, my voice is dead, I guess. d5. I'll take it. So d5 is hanging, let's protect it. Pawn up for now. Probably my opponent wanted to play bishop f5, attacking c2. But there is knight d4, protecting c2 and attacking the bishop. So it feels like just an extra pawn. Queen c7. Okay, my opponent realized there is nothing after bishop f5 and sticks to normal development of the pieces. What should I do here? Rook e1, or maybe I don't know, g3 preparing bishop f4, or maybe knight to d4 because d5 is now overprotected, with the idea of putting the knight on b5. Everything looks very interesting, tempting and playable. The question is, what is better? Let's just start with rook e1 move, exerting some pressure on e7. That was the initial idea. Now what? Bishop g5, for instance, or what? Bishop g5 looks interesting because probably my opponent wants to play e6 or something. So let's put the bishop on g5. Normal active square, exerting pressure along h4 d8 diagonal in advance, especially if black now plays something like e6. Well, my bishop is exactly there where it has to be. Bishop f5, okay, c2 is hanging. What I wanted to do here is to play knight d4. After which the things go wild. So I don't have the power to calculate all this, so let's just take on d5. And let's just take on f5. And then we will see what's going on. So if g takes f5, it's clear I just take on d5, but there is a question, what happens after a discovered attack? So knight jumps somewhere, I don't know where. e3, b4, c3, there are a lot of different options. After knight e3 attacking my queen and knight on f5, I think I would simply capture on e7 first, prior to doing anything else. At very least I have a chance to sacrifice my queen for a bunch of black's pieces, so everything should be just fine. So a minor piece up. Alright, so there is a threat of e6 now. Should I react somehow? Or is it just enough for me, I don't know, to play something like queen f3? Bishop f7 is also an interesting option. But then after king f7, queen h5, king goes to f8. I'm better, but I'm no longer minor piece up, right? Right. So let's play queen f3. Let's keep it simple. Just going away from the d file, still protecting the bishop, have an extra bishop. Should be winning this or that way. So Schelling says that d5 looks like a mouse slip. I'm not sure, because a5 grabbing the b4 square and followed by d5 and knight b4 is kind of a typical idea, and sometimes it works, but in this particular case it doesn't. So here it is. Right or not? Let's check. If it works. Let's take this one and checkmate into this way. Yep, so I guess d5 wasn't correct. It was an interesting try, of course, but feels like I just have extra pawn after that without much problems to save it on the board, and a lot of different ways to invade black's camp. So b5 square is awfully weak. And also after having the pawn on d5, I have a direct way to attack the e7 pawn. So I just do the same like usually. So I put the rook on e1, bishop on g5, but what is pleasant, I have an extra material here. All right. So thanks a lot for being patient today, because, well, I do believe it was really irritating to wait for me during these pauses and knowing nothing actually about the state of the stream and perspectives of coming back to broadcast and so forth. Sorry for that. Well, I did everything to come back fast, and everything to keep playing. Very, very pity that I lost to Schelling again, but well, the way I lost it, I mean, rook e2 was just brilliant, and I'm happy it happened, because it was really a great game. Thanks a lot for this experience as well. See you next Friday during this late Friday night's Banter Blitz, and we'll continue our discussion within Caricon, I guess. All premium members are welcome to the next episode of Training Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. So we're going to discuss several really cool studies that are not only good looking and impressive, but also quite instructive, just as usual. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye. See you.